What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great Monday. Figured I'd share a couple checks that came in just recently. Sometimes you get some that come in on the same day, so it's not the norm, but it does happen every once in a while. These checks are after all our expenses, so this is our net profit on two deals. And I'll just share a little bit about the deals with you. So one of those deals paid out fairly quickly. I think it was around 3 months that we got the deal done from when we filed the claim to getting a check now. The other deal was a long time. I think it's 6+ months. We've been waiting for that other check, the smaller one actually. And that is just the reality when you are dealing with estate cases. Okay. Estate cases can become messy very fast. And so it's very important to be aware. And let me give you 3 mistakes that I see a lot of people make when it comes to estate cases. Okay. The first mistake is signing up the wrong heir. Sometimes you feel like, especially if you're a newbie, you're trying to get that first deal right, you're a beginner, you haven't done any deals yet, or you've done very minimal amount of deals, and you find an heir and you think that just because they're an heir, they're entitled to the money. Not so. That is not always the case. Okay. It has to be the correct heir. Okay. Number 2, not signing up all of the heirs. Okay. When you're dealing with multiple heir situations, obviously the more people you can sign up, the better. Because if you're dealing, now it depends, every estate case is different, but if you've got multiple heirs and there's no will or anything, there's no executor, now you're dealing with partial claims. Each of the heirs who are entitled are going to have a percentage interest in the surplus funds. And so, for example, let's say you've got a case where you're working with 3 heirs and only 2 of them you sign up. Well, you're probably not going to get the full overage. You're probably only going to get 2/3 of the overage. Okay. So be aware of that. And then number 3 is make sure that you always, just because someone is an heir, make sure you also always check title. Okay. And make sure that ownership did not transfer to somebody. Okay. I've seen this happen on cases, and I've made this mistake myself, hence the reason I can share it with you. I have assumed that just because somebody was an heir and they were the only heir, that they were entitled to the funds. But then when we started doing deeper due diligence, we find out ownership passed, or maybe somebody, sometimes there are called what are survivorship deeds, I believe is the name of it. This actually happened recently where we had a case where we were dealing with the one and only child of the former homeowner who had passed away. Okay. But what he had done is he had signed something previously to passing away where it was basically instructions to where at the time of his death, title of his property would transfer over to his partner at the time. And that was very interesting. I haven't seen that very often, but it does happen. Sometimes people can dictate what happens to their home or what happens to their real estate upon them dying. And it's different from a will. Okay. I do believe it's a survivor's deed or something like that. I'll have to look it up in the case that we just did. But it basically is a form that is notarized that says, upon my death, title of my property will transfer to XYZ person. It's not a will. It's something that's different. Okay. Survivorship deed, I believe, but I need to look that up. So you have to be aware of those things as well, guys. And that's why you should check title and make sure that, you're dealing with the right person. Okay. So those are 3 mistakes that I see people make, is signing up the wrong heir, not signing up all the heirs, and not doing proper due diligence and signing up the wrong person. Okay. So be aware of that, especially with estate cases. Also keep in mind that the more heirs, the more likely that the case could become bogged down or things could become complicated very quickly. Okay. So I have a case right now that is probably going on over a year, and it's dealing with 7 heirs. And here's the other thing. When you're dealing with heirs that are second generation heirs, be prepared for the long haul. And what do I mean by second generation heirs? First generation would be the following: spouse, children, siblings, parents. Okay. Second generation is anything outside of that. So that would be grandchildren, nieces and nephews, uncles and aunts, grandparents, if they're still around. Second generation, when you're dealing with those types of cases, tread lightly and consider maybe not even doing those. Now, I'm not saying that they can't be done, because they can, but just be aware of them, okay? So, because they can get complicated very quickly, and they can be drawn out, and they can be very costly because they get drawn out, okay? So keep that in mind as well. That's all I've got for you. I'm going to get out of my car now because it is 100 degrees, and I'm going to run into the bank, deposit the checks, and call it a day. So hope you guys are having a good one. As always, guys, lots of free training here on the YouTube and at overagesyndicate.com. If you haven't seen those videos, make sure you go check those out. And appreciate you guys for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you.